Hey guys! Alright, so welcome back to this week's video, March 9th, Saturday. So it's kind of like a roundup of some of the news that happened over the week that either I didn't cover yet or covered but want to bring up for one last time. So really the one thing over the week that was the biggest news for me was Nintendo Labo VR, the headset type thing they're making. That was out of nowhere, so that's kind of a surprise. I also am glad because I hope Nintendo will further their VR kind of look into, and I feel like if anyone can make VR a success or at least show a different way of doing VR in a way that could make it more popular, I feel like Nintendo's really good at it, other than the Virtual Boy. I guess we'll leave that out, but Nintendo's usually really good, especially with the style of graphics that I think work great for VR. The cartoony graphics, like Job Simulator, I think those are the best graphics for VR. I don't need realistic. I need it just to look nice and run nice, and I feel like I don't think the Switch can handle running nice, but the cartoon graphics I think run the best, and Nintendo is really good at that. So hopefully they've worked it out somehow to where it's going to be a nice experience, and I'm sure if it wasn't a nice experience to play, Nintendo probably would have completely gave up on it, or they want to try to get their costs back and figured the VR Labo was the best way to at least recoup some money on what they've already spent time on, and we'll just give up after they get their money back. Hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, April 12th, right around the corner. Definitely probably going to be a day one buy for me, and usually I don't do day one buys very often unless I'm really excited. So I just want to kind of support them and hope that that leads them to the next thing. Alright, so for other news that just recently happened, PS4 just had an update so you can remote play to iOS devices. Yeah, I just find that's weird. I guess because the Vita is discontinued, they want to keep up their remote play, and the smartphone is kind of the obvious choice, but not really because it doesn't have any buttons. I don't want to play a PS4 game just touchscreen. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't entice me at all. So hopefully maybe they come up with a way where you can have a remote attached to your phone and play it that way, because other than that, I'm done. I'm not doing that at all. It just reminds me more of Steam Link, and even with buttons, I passed on that. I prefer just to play my PS4 on my television than have a very, very, very mediocre probably experience compared to a real television and a real controller. On top of that, EA has also announced that they're not going to E3, or they're not going to E3 in the sense they're going to have a big conference, which is probably the best thing for gamers, because I always disliked watching E3 conferences. I'm not much of a sports fan, and their conference just seemed a little out there. I hope they do more of just a, direct type thing, 20, 30 minutes of just trailers, show us what you're coming up with, and that's it. I don't need a long speeches or anything that they want to do. I just want to see the videos. I'm a gamer. I know for other E3 style things, do a different video for your investors. PlayStation's also not going to be there, so E3 is going to be interesting this year. Is this the start of a downfall for E3, or maybe a revival with having off-screen videos showing their games, but maybe E3 has more of a hands-on thing now instead of being there for, big announcements. You get those big announcements online, but then you get to play those big announcements on the floor, which may be a better experience for the person that wants to see it hands-on. In other news, Nintendo Switch Octopath Traveler is getting a prequel. But the funny thing is, it's not for the Switch. Which, me as a fan of a video game, I'd be very upset if my prequel came out for another console. Even though it's not another console, it's your smartphone. They're going to be coming out for your iOS and Android. It's a free-to-play, 2D HD style, just like it was on the Switch. I'm not sure how they're monetizing it yet, but I guess they thought the Octopath Traveler was such a hit that bringing it over to smartphones, they can make more money by making it free-to-play. Hopefully that just means that after a couple months, they decide just to take all the content, mark it up to $60, and sell it to you on the Switch. Because I'd prefer to play it on an actual handheld, on a TV, or on the go with the Switch versus on the go with your cell phone. I'm not much of a touchscreen fan, if you can figure that one out. But yeah, in last but not least, PlayStation announced, not announced, but on their website showed off their top 10 games sales for PSN Network downloads, and Anthem, number 1. Okay. Apparently more people are excited than I thought it was going to be for that game. GTA 5 is number 3. That's surprising because I stopped playing that game years ago. I loved it, don't get me wrong, it's a great game, but apparently online must still be selling well, or they're doing something right over there. I guess I should try the online service. For the VR, Super Shot, number 2. I like that. I really like that game. I think that's a perfect way VR was handled, and I hope more games kind of have that. Because the moving around motion kind of gets to me, but the Super Shot style of moving around was perfectly fine. The slow moving, kind of do your own thing. I wish more games were like that. Last but not least, Borderlands 2 VR. Not high on the list, but it's on the list, and I hope that keeps staying on the list and more people keep buying it, because I want the big companies to start bringing their games over to VR. The more it does well, maybe more companies jump on board and VR does better. Because I really think VR has a chance to be something if they keep developing it, keep updating it, and they're only going to do that if they can make money along the line and work their way up. So hopefully, the great games keep coming out and they're being sold just enough for the companies to be like, all right, let's make another one. And, 5 years from now, we have great VR, hopefully. So yeah. All right, so that rounds out kind of what I wanted to talk about this week. March 9th, March 10th, Mario tomorrow. So check out all the Mario sales that are going on for the weekend. All right, guys, let me know what you thought about this week's news. What was your big excitement, and what are you just not excited for? All right, guys, have a good night. Keep on gaming. Like, share the video, and check out my other videos. All right, have a good night.